the 48th pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks have selected Tobi Lawal, the forward from Virginia Tech. Welcome into Mavericks Today, presented by Prize Picks. Jeffrey Cooperstein here with you guys. And my initial thoughts on the Mavericks selecting Tobi Lawal is not surprising and not super inspired with the Tobi Lawal pick, if I'm being honest. The Mavericks did register interest in Lawal throughout the draft process, and they end up taking him here in the back end of the second round. And the Mavericks had this pick originally going in to yesterday. They actually end up sticking and picking, which is pretty abnormal for the second round. Tobi Lawal, born in London, he is a 23-year-old senior from the Virginia Tech Hokies who averaged 12.3 points, 8.5 boards, a block a night as well on 54% shooting. And my initial thoughts on Lawal, the 6'7 senior, is I don't think he's going to play a whole lot for the Mavericks this season. Just look at this team's front court already. When you talk about who is at the 4, you've got PJ Washington, you've got Morez Johnson, you've got Cooper Flagg, you've got Najee Marshall, and at big man, you've got Gafford, and you've got Lively as well. I simply just don't see a spot for Lawal in this team's rotation. And it wouldn't shock me if it comes out and we find out that this is going to be a two-way contract. They could sign him to one of those non-guaranteed deals where he's on the 15-man, but I think we're going to see a lot of Lawal in Summer League. I think we're going to see a lot of Lawal in the G League with the Legends. I just simply don't see him making a big impact for the Mavericks this season, which is okay for a mid to late second round pick. The scouting report on Tobi Lawal from our draft expert Nick Rohloff is as follows. Crazy athleticism and leaping ability to finish dunks and grab rebounds, started to expand his range beyond the arc, though the results have not been fantastic yet, and still has room to grow as a connective piece. I hear that word connective piece, and that's really what I think of when I think of Mo Johnson. Like, you need those guys like Najee Marshall. You need those guys on your team. And if Lawal can develop like the Mavericks think they can develop him into a nice rotational piece, then fantastic. The Mavs have found themselves a steal with the 48th overall pick. But I don't think they're expecting much from Lawal this season, and that is super, super fair. No ceilings on Tobi Lawal, who has a great draft guide over there. He said there are athletes, there are mega athletes, and then there is Tobi Lawal. Chips in on the glass, block shots into the rafters, and can throw down over anyone. That second sentence there, very, very interesting, where it says he chips in, blocks shots, and can be everywhere and dunk over everyone. Who does that remind you of? Oh, yeah, that's kind of the description they gave Mo Johnson, who does the little things that your superstars don't want to do. That's going to be Tobi Lawal as well. Again, just 25% from 3 last year, but he only really started to shoot those threes consistently last season, so that one doesn't super concern me. He's not going to space the floor. Look, this is a project. When you're in the second round, especially in the back end of the second round, you're looking for guys that you can boom big on. Tobi Lawal is one of those guys that you can hit big on if he hits. Now, is the hit rate going to be super high? No, maybe not, but I do believe that there is a world that Tobi Lawal becomes somewhat of a good NBA player. So, look, I can't get up here and call this an A pick by any means, but I also can't get up here and call it an F just because we don't know what Tobi Lawal is or what he's going to bring to the Dallas Mavericks. You guys go down in the comment section, though. Grade the pick for me. A, B, C, D, or F. You give me your letter grade down in the comment section, and I will give you mine here in just a moment. I'm going to give this grade a C+. A C+ is what I'm going to go with. I had to think about it for a second. It doesn't really move me one way or the other, but Tobi Lawal, nevertheless, welcome to Dallas. We're going to talk about the rest of the draft here in just a moment, but today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Make sure you go use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is super easy to play. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in. You can play Prize Picks in all 50 states as well, including Texas, California, New York, North Carolina, wherever you are in the United States, you can play Prize Picks. And this is my lineup for tonight. Kind of did a little bit of a combo lineup, which I like doing. It doesn't all have to be one sport when you're playing daily fantasy. I took Vinny Jr. to score a goal for Brazil. Guess what? He did that for us. And I also took the more on Caitlin Clark. The reports of her demise greatly exaggerated. Caitlin Clark having a good game tonight. And I'm going to take the more on Angel Reese rebounds as well. This one was a bonus lineup because PrizePicks gives you those if you complete certain missions over there, and you always can get those flash discounts as well. You can go copy these picks over on the social feeds feature or go make picks of your own. Just please do it over at PrizePicks. Download the app, use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play that first $5 lineup. That link will be in the comments and description of today's show. We appreciate PrizePicks for sponsoring this episode of Mavericks Today. So barring a trade, barring a move into the second round, this is what the Mavericks draft haul for 2026 looks like. You took Morez Johnson, number 9 overall, the big out of Michigan. You traded up in that super ridiculous convoluted trade. Don't even get me started on that. We still don't know the full details. I mean, we do, but we don't. Of the trade that got Sergio de Larrea to the Mavs at 25. And then Tobi Lawal, your most recent pick, at number 48. I do want to give a special shout out to Sergio, by the way, who won the Liga ACB today. He is a Spanish champion and now will come over to the Dallas Mavericks. And it does sound like, by all reports, that is going to be the case. Things have not been finalized yet, whether he's going to come to the Mavericks, whether he's going to play in the Summer League. So we're waiting to hear all those details around Sergio. And of course, once we find that out, we will let you know. But look, the Mavericks clearly had a vision with this draft class, right? And it feels like they executed it to damn near perfection. They wanted the guy in Mo Johnson who is going to be the connector. He's going to be the guy that does the dirty work. He's going to be the guy that gives 110% effort every single time the Dallas Mavericks take the floor. And why did Dusty May want him? Because of those reasons alone. If he develops that three-point shot next to Cooper Flagg, he's really going to be a force to be reckoned with. And Mike Schmitz talked about why he decided to take Johnson over the other two Michigan players. And they simply just said they feel like the fit with Cooper Flagg will be seamless just because of how hard Mo Johnson works and how just selfless of a teammate that he is. And that is what I want to hear. The Mavericks needed a culture reset. They get that culture reset with Morez Johnson. And on the court need the Mavericks needed, though, that one was addressed by Sergio de Larrea, who, by all accounts, I have no reason to believe he's not going to be this team's backup point guard next season. Sergio, again, Spanish champion. Congrats to him. He has unique skills with the basketball that don't come along very often. Now, he's still pretty raw. I mean, he's playing in a professional league in Spain, the second best league in the world. He's coming off the bench for the team that just won the championship this year. Now, heading into the draft process, there was the thought that Sergio was going to stay over in Spain for this next season. Sounds like now he's going to come over to the Mavericks. And the fact that he grew up a Mavericks fan is even cooler. I mean, that is just absolutely awesome. And then the final pick today in the draft, they take Tobi Lawal at number 48 overall. Again, I really don't think that Tobi is going to do much for this team this year. He's going to play a lot for the Texas Legends in the G League down in Frisco, and they're going to try to develop him as best as they can. And if they need him, maybe he's a break glass in case of emergency. He's a guy that they sign on a two-way contract, or he's just someone that they kind of just keep in the G League all season and do that kind of thing with him. If the Mavs need to use Tobi Lawal this season, yeah, I'd be pretty scared if they had to do that. All right, one more time before we get on out of here. We told you about him. We asked you to grade the pick. I want you guys to grade it again. A, B, C, D, or F down there in the comment section, and you guys let me know if your grade has changed between now and a few minutes ago before we gave you some more info on Mr. Lawal. And also make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are going to have you covered with everything surrounding your Dallas Mavericks. The UDFA class for the Mavericks could be interesting. We'll know about their Summer League roster in the next couple of days or so. And then next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central Time, NBA free agency commences. Oh, and another thing. On Monday, the Mavericks have to decide whether or not to pick up Ryan Nembhard's option. So that's certainly something we'll have to keep an eye on as well. And we are going to have you covered with every single thing. Hit that sub button at youtube.com/MavsTV, and we'll see you guys soon here on the channel.